Welcome to Velma. We all know it's going to be shit. Let's get into this. We open and I kid you not, the first line is...
Sure. Normally origin stories are about tall, handsome guys struggling with the burden of being handed even more power. And if they are about girls, it's usually like, hey, what made this hot chick go crazy?
Well, Velma, very observant of you to say there's no female origin stories, completely ignoring all of the Hunger Games, all of the Tomb Raiders, all of the Star Wars sequels, Rogue One, Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman 1984, Black Widow,
Elektra, Jessica Jones, Birds of Prey, Moana, Supergirl, Orange is the New Black, Buffy the Vampire, Grey's Anatomy,
G.I. Jane, Legally Blonde, She-Hulk, Charlie's Angels,
Queen's Gambit, Mrs. Marvel, WandaVision, Ahsoka will be, The Marvels will be, Agatha, Coven of Chaos will be,
Wednesday, and arguably Stranger Things. But this cherry-picking and stereotyping of the industry doesn't stop here and continues to fuel this hypocrisy-filled show with just its first episode. Starting ourselves off with the first actual scene of the show, preparing ourselves for the theme moving forward, getting ready for the most liberal show you've ever seen. We open on cockroaches fucking. I think this was supposed to be funny. Like, ooh, look at us, we're so quirky and different. We opened a TV show in a weird way. No other TV show's done that before. Ha ha. Laugh.
Team shower discussion topic of the day. Have you ever noticed how pilot episodes of TV shows always have more gratuitous sex and nudity than the rest of the series?
Get it? It's funny because they're doing the things they're complaining about. Get it? They're complaining about nudity in the first episode of TV shows, but this is nudity in the first episode of their TV show? The creative genius here is just unmatched, and frankly, this is so far the pinnacle of comedy. Oh,
I, for one, think it's lame.
Agree.
so lame.
The lamest.
Laugh. So this one girl goes on to say how she actually loves the fact TV shows open up with sexy scenes, saying sex sells and it helps shows that need to stand out. For this, she is called a pervert, and Daphne starts cruelly bashing her face into the floor. Again, I think they were trying to be funny, but it just makes Daphne look fucking evil, which could be the plot twist of this entire show. I don't know yet, that's just a guess. Also, before we go any further, I will not be commenting on the race element of this show, as yes, it blindly doesn't make any sense, but it's such a glaring issue with the show that anyone can see it. We will focus on more nuanced details aside from when it comes to a certain character. We see fucking Velma come in what seems to be her debut in the Canadian entry to hockey, by absolutely destroying Daphne, sending her flying into the lockers. Now we have to have the debate on whether Velma can beat Superman in a fight. Great. She seemingly did that for no reason, by the way, considering they immediately start chatting about race-blind casting and whether it's good or bad, which, if that's the defense for this show, it's not accurate. They 100% on purpose made Daphne Asian, Velma African, Shaggy Black, and Fred racist. By the way, because they're bad at drawing Asians, they had to have Daphne explicitly say, "As an Asian woman myself." Bitch, where the fuck is your "as an Asian woman myself"? Velma goes over to her locker and opens it, finding herself a corpse. Now, she originally thought it was her friend trying to prove she was skinny by fitting in the locker. Another poor attempt at comedy. But then she falls out of the locker and the top of her head comes off. So Velma screams, "Ah, she has no brains!" Then the girls take that as an insult. Velma says, "I'm not dissing her, she actually has no brains!" And this time all the girls scream in terror. You see this? This is comedy. Laugh or else the Chinese government will hunt you down for that one Winnie the Pooh meme you sent in 2013. Velma is brought into questioning by two detectives that make it very clear they are lesbian. Again, by saying it, not showing it. So creative. The joke here is that these two women are bad cops and can't even remember Velma's mother's name, who was their main missing persons report for the last 2 years. Yeah, Velma's mother is missing. These gals turn out to be Daphne's adoptive parents. It seems like a totally not stereotypical fallout happened between the nerd and the hot shit. How revolutionary. Anyways, turns out Velma is the main suspect in this murder, considering it was her locker and she seemingly has a motive. So the cops tell her to clear her name, she will need to help find out who actually murdered the Brenda. That's the corpse, by the way. Now we see an overly stereotyped white racist Fred, who apparently has a disability that makes it so he can't see race, and keeps mistaking Velma for a random Mexican. Okay, I hate white people too, coming from a suicidal maniac, but that's a tad far, don't you think? This show is literally unwatchable for white people. I don't know if that's what we quote-unquote deserve for the years of hate towards people of color, but I guess it's what we get. Now, I'm gonna skip past the weird mother who is taking naked sexy photos whilst the baby is pressed violently against her to the point where it sticks outside her stomach. Moving on. So it turns out that Velma's mother didn't go missing. She just left out of the hatred for the family, I guess. And now we finally get to meet #NotMyShaggy, because who the fuck is this guy? Shaggy's whole character revolves around him being a hippie who acts constantly high.
It has something to do with drugs, which I hate.
And gets bitches and has a dog. Who the fuck is this? If you want more black representation, make more black characters, instead of shoehorning in these pointless race changes that really only serve to prove that you can't come up with new and interesting characters, so you had to base the black personality off of a white character. Actually, this goes both ways as well. Don't whitewash, don't blackwash, just for fuck's sake, be original. So Daphne thinks Velma wants to be Fred's boyfriend. Velma says no. Daphne complains about Fred's insecurities because Fred won't let her have sex with him. Daphne uses an example of him waiting till everyone leaves the bathroom before getting changed. This bathroom happens to be the same one Brenda was killed in, therefore Velma thinks she has a lead. She gets #NotMyShaggy and heads over to Fred's, breaks in and goes through his shit. Fred comes out of the bathroom saying Brenda took photos of his hairless legs, which made him do what he did to her. And finish that off by saying, don't worry, all I have to do is do the same to you. The music swells as he gets closer, his hand reaching for his pocket as he looks at her menacingly. When he gets shot in the back of both of his legs by the lesbian cops. When he falls over, we see he was merely trying to hand her a notepad and pen to pay her off. The cops don't buy it. Simple as that. Also, #NotMyShaggy gets hardline rejected in the middle of this scene, and I don't even want to talk about it. They get back to Velma's place, where Velma restates she believes her mother was murdered, and then sees a bunch of cockroaches leading into a bin, and refuses to look. So #NotMyShaggy takes a look instead, and finds another classmate's dead body. Brains also not to be found. That's where the episode ends, and thank God for that. That was hard to watch. This show is borderline unbearable unless you are a hard-left feminist that hates white men. Oops, I found one. Anyway.
Fortune was arrested last night for murder.
Well, thanks to me.
And according to the police, Jones would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for his classmate,
Say my name.
Vermin Dorkley.
Ha 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 ha. Do you get it yet? They got the name wrong. Do you get the levels of comedy we're on here? Do you get? I apologise for the drop in quality of the film. HBO Max is not available in Australia. Therefore, all these episodes were airing on Binge. Binge is airing the episodes a whole week late, meaning we would be a week late to this review. So, I'm going to review them through a friend of mine streaming them to me. So we find out Velma's dad is going to be Fred's lawyer in the defense case against the charges brought against him by his own daughter. Turns out he's doing this for the cash. Who knew? He says something oddly pedophilic here, but like, you know, who cares? Man looks like his name is Raj anyway.
You didn't mention Fred had a tiny dong.
Oh yeah, real baby carrot. And I'm gonna ride it all the way to victory.
So Velma wants to figure out where her mother went. As we stated at the end of last episode, she believes she went missing / got kidnapped. She uses what seems to be an old friendship bracelet to try and bribe Daphne to steal from her cop parents and grab her mother's case file. This doesn't work, and Daphne says she needs to be paid $500 to grab it. Now, so far, this is tonally consistent to the last episode, but that changes very quickly and characters do complete 180s. So, you'll see. Oh yeah, and this happens with Fred.
Have well-documented anger issues. I mean, what does that even mean? Hey, am I on a hunger strike? Where the hell are my pancakes?
Did you see the funny? Do you get it? How he mocked people for saying he had anger issues, and then he had anger issues. Don't you get the funny? This is the funny. Laugh, please. So Velma's plan is simple. Rob, hashtag not my Shaggy, and yes, even though he's not my Shaggy, I still do feel fucking horrible for him. This whore who he has dedicated all his time and effort to is just planning on robbing him and by extension his family for some money. This is just pure evil. What the fuck? Oh, and don't worry, this isn't the furthest she pushes fake Shaggy. Oh no, it's not even close. She goes upstairs to find fake Shaggy doing a Twitch stream. Well, fuck. He's black and doing Twitch, aka out of the job. Velma asks him for money. He says no. So she fucking guilt trips him and gets him shamed on livestream for not giving her the money. This doesn't fucking matter though, because fake Shaggy then turns around and makes me believe he deserves every fucking bit of torture she's inflicted on him by saying this one sentence.
In teen movies, whenever a girl needs money, a guy sells something and then blackmails the girl into dating him for it. Problematic, but effective. And hilarious.
What the fuck, bro? Are all the characters in this show evil and unrelatable? This is the fucking point where continuity starts to go to hell. I don't know what the writers were smoking, but this is the beginning of the lesbian arc between Daphne and Velma. Literally only last episode, which in the continuity of this was only 2 days ago, they were absolute arch rivals, but now Velma is selling weed for Daphne's weed brand because she needs $500 for Daphne. Unsurprisingly, Velma is bad at selling weed. Anyway, doesn't matter too much. Shaggy's about to go and try and sell his kidney to get Velma's love.
Will I sell you a kidney to get the $500 I need to make Velma date me? I mean, I'd be a fool not to at this point, right?
Do you get it? It's because he's desperate. That is the joke, by the way.
But before you can process that, it's now time for the court case.
Over here! Come on! How could you risk your career and entire livelihood on the most unlikable defendant since that chimpanzee who ate a woman's face?
Because what you see as risk, I see as mere child's play.
Reminder that this writing team is the one behind the new Scooby-Doo show that, knowing HBO Max, won't get cancelled. Fun.
Stop! No pictures! Unless it's in portrait mode.
I am Adolf Hitler! I am from my mom's. I need to find out who I really am. Where do I come from? And how is my hair the color of buffalo wings?
So, Daphne's adoptive parents bust Daphne and Velma about the drugs, but don't recognize them because of their sick disguises.
Gay! You know, out of all the scenes in this episode, I think this is by far the most tolerable one, and that's just because it reminds me of old Scooby-Doo, which has, well, actually good chase scenes that aren't like this. The only, slightly good part is the part where they crash through the wall instead of the window, even though it makes no sense, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Lol.
Oh my god, bestie, wait, am I enjoying you, enjoying me, enjoying you, enjoying me, enjoying you, enjoying me, enjoying hanging out with you? This is just a complete stark contrast to what was going on in the last episode. What the fuck happened? It's like they just made up off screen. Fucking, it'll be over in a week. That's a lesbian divorce rate joke. So even though Daphne is clearly getting a crush on Velma, she still wants her money. So, they go off late into the night to find another buyer. This one seems aptly keen on buying, till he turns around and it turns out Velma just tried to sell drugs to her dad. Now this is where I believe the writing room was snorting cocaine. Not only have they made a show about sexualizing actual children and showing some of them nude, but now this child is selling drugs to her father. What the fuck? Back to the trial. They almost win by completely humiliating Fred, making him look like an inept idiot. Clearly he can't murder someone. But Fred can't handle the mockery any longer. So he stands up with a knife and threatens everyone in the room, saying he is 100% capable enough to cut people's brains out if he wanted to. Yeah, he's found guilty. Daphne comes to Velma's house after hearing Velma admit she can judge people incorrectly sometimes. She hands over her mother's brief. This causes one of her PTSD flashbacks. Basically, if it goes for too long, it's gonna give her a heart attack and kill her. Anyway, she was brought out of this last time by fake Shaggy confessing his love and her thinking it was a joke, so Velma tries to get Daphne to make her laugh to pull her out of it. It doesn't work. Daphne, completely out of ideas, kisses Velma. It saves her life. The caption said, "Both moan." And I want to kill my... Anyway, they continue to make out after she's confirmed to be okay. And the camera cuts to fake Shaggy to say the only funny line of the entire episode.
Great. Now even just being myself won't work. Rom-coms can kiss my ass.
Ooh, bunk beds! Hoisties!
Really?
And that was Velma episode 2. In some parts worse than episode 1, and in some parts better. I'd say this episode felt so different because it was made by a completely different writer. We open on fake Shaggy, who is being creepily possessive over Velma's kiss with Daphne, suggesting Velma goes to a therapist over it. Yeah, that's where we're taking this. Velma informs Shaggy that her mother's cell phone last pinged at Fred's house. This makes Fred a #1 suspect. So ignoring that, so it turns out fake Shaggy's dad, who I'll be calling real Shaggy, is a therapist who is coming to the school to explain the importance of mental health. This fits into a 5-second gag with no importance, but hey, they do the funny joke thing here. Look guys, she says that she doesn't have issues, and then it turns out she has issues. Wow, holy shit, I'm laughing right now. Anyway, turns out that the school is going to be putting females into a self-defense class so that they can defend themselves in a case of any future serial killer. In response to this, Velma asks, why don't we put all men in a don't kill women class? As if it wasn't just one dude who killed a few people, acting as if women can't kill people, when we literally have seen Velma trying to kill people multiple times already, whatever. So we cut to Velma and fake Shaggy in prison waiting to interview Fred. In this interaction, Velma asks if it's obvious that she's using beanbags to make her tits look bigger. In response to this, fake Shaggy asks if she's still attracted to Fred, and the answer is yes. Now this is a perfect time to go over every role Mindy Kaling has had in Mindy Kaling's writing history, and look at their love interests. Huh, interesting. She's not obsessed with white men or anything. Anyway, then we get to this incredibly weird hallucination of 15-year-old Daphne basically strip-teasing before turning into a monster and trying to give Velma a heart attack. Once again, fake Shaggy has to make her laugh to pull her out of this. Now, let me just say, the 15-year-old animated nudity is not illegal in the US, or most countries for that matter. The fact that it's animated is enough to differentiate it from real child porn. In Australia, it is illegal. Now, Australia is the country I live in. So as an Australian, I find this show incredibly fucking creepy. So if you hear me comment on this more than, I don't know, an American would, that's fucking why. She gets kicked out of the prison for, you know, whatever the fuck that was, and returns to the school, where she finds out that her and Daphne are going to fight each other in the self-defense class. They both go into the bathroom as an excuse to chat about the kiss, where they get into an argument about who kissed who and who liked who first, so they now hate each other again. What? This is not how you write love. Fucking Koala Man did it better. And that was a relationship about a person who wanted to be popular and a person who was popular, and that popular person had 3 identical clones and 2 of them wanted to take over the world by killing the queen and moving to Hollywood Island. And that made more sense. Anyway, Velma continues to be a bitch. We cut to the tournament, in which Velma uses her weight to beat everyone, and Daphne just beats up everyone by stabbing if necessary. Only males can be serial killers, guys. Fake Shaggy uses his therapist powers to find out Fred wasn't the killer. Back to the tournament. To beat Daphne, Velma stole her diary and starts airing out her private info about her mental health struggles. Yes, Mindy Kaling, I hope young Indian girls can relate to this overhated character. That was a great fucking idea. Late in the afternoon, Velma goes to Daphne's house to apologize, and they fall all lovey-dovey again. They decide to stay friends until they figure out a few things, however. Turns out, Fake Shaggy didn't get to the prison in time for the therapist's appointments, cause yes, he decided to be everyone's therapist. This caused the prisoners to riot because they thought he would, be there. This makes real Shaggy take Fake Shaggy's therapist coat, but as he does that, a note from a mental asylum falls out, which happens to be from Fake Shaggy's mother. Yeah, she's batshit crazy apparently. Okay, goodbye, I'm done. We'll do the second episode later. So this episode sexualizes children a lot more than the first episode's naked scenes even did. With this episode being based on which 15-year-old is the sexiest. I wouldn't say that this episode is the worst, I'd say it's the creepiest. We open and the town mayor or something, I don't know, is proposing a sexy list. He wants it to be made so that the sexiest girls in town can be kept track of and not killed, with the police officer referring to the already killed girls as sexy. Reminder, this guy is about 30 and the girls are 14 to 16. Whatever, fuck the age of consent. Velma goes to Fred, who's just been released from jail, to get help on finding who is the hottest. Fred identifies them all by doing boob math. Velma then hands him a book on what makes a good woman. Except for how they look. And then leaves. Fred incorrectly identifies for this book for a Who is Hotter battle between X-Men characters, so he reads it all. Daphne gets locked in her room by her parents to keep her safe. Fake Shaggy comes over to learn what makes Daphne so appealing to Velma. Yes, his entire character at this point is, how do I get Velma to like me? For fuck's sake. Velma then has to try and de-hotify the school kids. This is so fucking weird to me, but okay. And, oh, it doesn't work, by the way. Then we get this, which is 100% foot fetish bait. What the fuck? Daphne escapes her room by picking the lock with a knife and goes with Fake Shaggy to investigate who her parents were. They find this picture of a cave that Daphne says is familiar. It's Crystal Cove. Fuck my life. We then cut to Velma showing off her work of de-hotifying the school kids. She pulls the cloth to reveal that they all went back to their old ways. So the fucking 40-year-plus mayor says,
"Ooh, they are so hot, daddy likey. Wait!
Man, what the fuck is this shit? This is just weird. No more. No fucking more. Andy, it's your turn."
We cut back to the police station to see where the plot thread with Velma and the hot girls went. Which is absolutely nowhere. As in, like, they're literally like, yeah, no, we're not becoming like you so that way we don't get murdered, lol, and then they leave. And Velma's like, wait, I don't know what to do now. And this is just the worst show writing I think I've ever come across. Like, holy shit, this is terrible. We cut to Velma and her stepmother in the middle of traffic, and whoa, she's about to have a baby. Stepmother? Whatever. Parent, I guess. And whoa, she's about to have a baby. And so, Velma needs the help of the hot girls to clear the way so that way the ambulance can get closer and, well, they can help. This is not a great scene. We cut to the crystal mines with Daphne and Norville and something danger-prone Daphne, and danger-prone Daphne wants to go into the mines, and Norville's like, haha, no. And so they both go back. Useful scene. We cut to Velma in hospital with parents, and hey, this is a useless scene, so I'm not gonna bother. And then we cut to Velma in her room trying to twerk, and she's like, nope, not for me, after she breaks, well, a mirror. And then Fred shows up and is like, hey, I'm into you, but is a dick about it, and Velma's like, no thanks, and he's like, but, bruh. And also the after credits scene is, Gigi wanting to be herself and then running into Norville, and now they're into each other. Anyways, this episode of Velma was pure and utter dog shit. I would not recommend it to anybody, not even my worst enemy. Honestly, this show just has terrible, I want to kill myself writing. And yeah, that is basically all. This show's terrible.